that as a coaching staff you could get better? And also on the halftime adjustment issue, which gets bandied around a lot, are there things you identified where you think as offensive coaches you could have done things better?
Yeah, we looked at a lot of areas and really took a lot of time and evaluated, I would say, every aspect offensively. And one of the things that really struck us is just the importance of playing fundamentally sound football, and that the difference between success and not having success really kind of lies in just us doing some of the little things really well from an execution standpoint. So, I mean, we evaluate, things from a schematic standpoint, certainly. That was definitely part of our exercise. But one of the things that we really felt like is that when you look at the success or lack of success on a certain play, one of the things that's so important is just the fundamental execution of the play. And certainly there was evidence of us doing that at times well, like, for example, in the first half of the last couple of games where there were some positive things that we were doing offensively. And that was true of those plays, too, that really the source of our success was us playing well fundamentally and doing just the simple things really well. So that's one of the things that we've emphasized to our players. We're going to continue to emphasize those fundamentals that we think are most important to having a successful offense, and that was something that I think was a part of our bye week last week, is just identifying what those are and doing those well.
And as far as the halftime adjustment issue, Jeff, how much had you looked at that, and did you identify multiple things that you think as a coaching staff you could have done differently?
Yeah, I mean, there's that. We spent a lot of time last week on the halftime part of it, just because it was, something that obviously we played well at times in the first half, and then you go to the second half and we didn't have the same success. So that being said, we evaluated every aspect of coming back in the second half, our halftime adjustments, what we do in the locker room, our pre-planning of the second half, whether it's to spend, more time on the first couple series in planning of the second half. And I think that one of the things that came out on that is just, like I said before, is just the importance of our fundamentals and doing the simple things really well from an execution standpoint was the difference. There was times we repeated plays from the first half. There were times that we called plays that were new plays to the defense in the second half. So I think that there's a combination of play calling that we looked at to see what works best. But I think in the end, what was really important when we looked at it is to just see the importance of the fundamentals regardless of the play that's called.
Just to wrap this up, just so I'm sure I'm understanding you.
Right.
It was more a case of execution fundamentals than we didn't make adjustments as a staff. We didn't do things we should have done.
I think certainly there's all areas that we can improve in, and one of the areas that I can improve in is the play callers and putting us in the best position possible on each play, and that is something we closely evaluated. Is what did we do schematically that was different in the first half relative to the second half, and I think that's a combination of factors involved in those decisions, and I also think those decisions are based off of the team you're playing, so they change so much. But I certainly would not say it's only player related. That's not the case. We're all in this together, and I certainly carry the burden of trying to put us in the best play possible, and those are things that we really evaluated. And moving forward, we're going to continue to try to do our best of coming out in the second half and playing more consistently, similar to the way we did in the first half of these last two games.
When you mentioned fundamentals, I wrote down, do you mean more subpar technique, or are you more often seeing mental errors such as missed assignments?
Yeah, I think that, when you have a lack of execution on any play, it's a combination of those things, whether it's a fundamental breakdown or maybe a lapse in mental assignment. But certainly my reference to the fundamentals is the basic fundamentals of blocking, throwing, catching, of executing those things that we really stress daily, in our preparation on the practice field. So, those are areas that, from a player perspective, that they know that we've identified that we can improve on. and be more consistent, and they certainly have embraced that last week in our practice that we had, and really tried to do a better job in those areas. And then from a coaching standpoint, fundamentally, it's coaching fundamentals as well. It's putting us in the best play possible. It's making sure we're prepared for all the potential adjustments that the defense may or may not make in those things. So again, this just doesn't fall solely on the players. It's a responsibility of all of us involved, including the coaching staff, to be better in the second half.
Obviously, you were forced into making changes on the offensive line because of injuries. But did Webb's performance at left tackle make you sort of reconsider where does he fit best on this line?
Yeah, it's a good question, because I think that we've had moving parts on the offensive line, and it's been kind of pieces of the puzzle, if I've described, and we're trying to find the best five that fit best together and give us the best chance to do what we need to be successful on offense. And certainly Webb moving over to the left side gave us another look at maybe a potential combination that may work best for us. I think we're still still looking for the best kind of combination and how it all fits together. And I think that's the goal, is to find the five best guys that fit and play well with each other. And some of that is related to how they communicate with each other on certain sides. So nothing's set in stone still for us there. It's still work in progress. And I think that it was encouraging to see Webb go over to the left and have some flexibility to be able to play on the left side for sure.
And how would you assess the play that you got at guard from
Beam.
Beam?
Rhymes with Fink.
Yeah.
Yes,
Beam rhymes with Fink. And kind of
That's
the
a good way.
pronunciation
That's a
guy
good way
there.
to look at it. Yeah.
how did
Yeah.
he play?
He played kind of exactly the way we thought he was going to play, and there were some real positive things. He's a really good communicator, so that was very helpful to have somebody in there that communicates well, especially when we have some moving parts at the tackle spot. So he communicates well. He has a veteran presence about himself. He's always well prepared, studies the game plan, knows what our plan is, knows the opponent. So from that standpoint, I thought there were some real positives. I think he's a professional that really works hard. Those things I mentioned as far as his overall communication and just knowing his assignment. So that's very helpful when you have players that have not had as much experience at those other spots. It's very helpful to have somebody in there like himself.
And how much consideration is being given to giving Isaiah Prince another start?
Yeah, I think that Isaiah, certainly there was some evidence in the game that, that he went out there and did well in his first game, and there were some areas that he certainly needs to improve in. I think that as we tell all the players, it's kind of you're going to get what you deserve, and that is, you go out on a daily basis and you strive for consistency, which I think is something that Isaiah is trying to do. Is he showed us on time and on certain plays that he could do it, and he just needs to do it on a consistent basis, and he's going to prove that to us on a daily basis of just going out to practice and really just trying to improve. But there were certainly some positive things, not only with Isaiah, but just kind of the combination of the O-line that we had in there. Again, not set in stone, but trying to find the right fit for us.
You have three real options as a third down back, just from the limited amount that we were able to see in May and June, which is just a fraction of what you see every day. It looked like Mark Walton was the most polished receiver out of the backfield. Do you agree with that, and do you think that having him on third downs is something that's appealing?
Yeah, I think that Mark has really impressed me. He's impressed me in both running the football and his pass receiving. I think he runs hard. I think he does a good job and takes pride in catching the football. He certainly has a skill set that's unique, that he can do both. He has the ability to run the ball, and he has the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield and do a nice job. So we've been impressed with Mark. I know that he falls in the category of somebody we're impressed with the way he works and the way he prepares and those things. And certainly I think that, like any other player, when you go out and you have some success and you are consistent in your performance, that's probably going to give you another opportunity to go back out there and do it again. So been impressed with him, like him, glad he's on our team, and certainly he's somebody that I know will have opportunities if he continues to play at a consistent level.
I know you guys basically help out the coaching staff with the evaluation of the draft. Do you remember what your assessment of Dwayne Haskins was in that process?
You know, I don't necessarily want to comment on that right now. You know, we go through a lot of different players, and you know, we see a lot of different positions. So I know that I would just say is the draft this year, I had a lot of respect for the quarterbacks in the draft this year. I don't want to go into specifics, but there was a lot of respect I had for those guys. And, you know, certainly, you know, it's an ongoing process for us. We look at a lot of players, don't want to comment specifically on it, and that's not a negative. I just, you know, rather kind of focus in on the Redskins side of the defensive side of the ball more so than focusing in on what I thought of the quarterback in previous drafts. Yep.
Speaking of Redskins, how good do you feel about your chance to win on Sunday?
I think that, you know, we're approaching this week. It's the same as we approach every week, and that is today is a huge game planning day for us, and last week was a great week for us as far as a team of really kind of reflecting and going back on how we can be better here in the next quarter of the season. And, you know, we're not approaching this week any different than we have before, and that is to put our team in the best position to win. The team has certainly worked hard and tried to really come in and do the things we've asked them to do, and we just got to continue, as I've said, on focusing on the process of improving and getting better. And certainly the reason we go to Sundays is to win the game, and that's what we're going to do, and that's what we're going to continue to do, and we're going to prepare that way. And our team is certainly, I think last week was a great week for us, and showed a lot of evidence of kind of the spirit of this team and the enthusiasm we have to go back out there and compete on the next quarter of the season. And we're real excited, and today's a big day for us in game planning. Tomorrow will be a big day for us in our first practice. And I mean, I think we're really excited to go out there, and the bye week was good for us to kind of, again, reflect and see what we need to do better individually, collectively, as a team. And I'm really looking forward to the next part of the season.
Words that said you play to win the game, and I wrote down, how badly do you want the staff and players to experience victory?
Well, I think it's no, you know, like we don't ever put wins weighted more or so less. Wins are wins. Wins are great, you know, and that's what we strive to do. So I think that's the goal every week. We're going to win, and we're going to try to win and go out there, and we're going to prepare to do so. And that's the approach that we've taken. I know that the players have definitely taken that approach, and we're, again, excited to the opportunity to go compete, and that's what we're going to do.
I wouldn't generally have the audacity to ask you to limit a response to 2 words, but I will in this one case. Who's the name that comes to mind if I ask you who's been open a lot that we need to get the ball to more in the passing game?
I think that I can't answer that with your two questions. That's a tough one, because I think there's a lot of things that go into that question. I think there's, you know, the guys that sometimes have been open. Maybe we didn't have the protection, or maybe they've been open but they haven't been the primary read on the play, and it looks as though to the fan that they're open, and they maybe not are in the progression as early as the other guys. So I think it's a kind of a multi-layer answer to that. And I think that, you know, we have some guys that, again, I still believe that have skill enough to get open and create space and do that, but we need to all work together to allow them to do that from the standpoint of all of us doing our job.
You prepared a statement for us?
No question.
We've asked about the ever-evolving role for Raekwon, and he's done different things each and every week. Is there more consideration to putting him back as the inside linebacker?
Well, I think, you know, you look over the first 4 games of the season, he's played inside linebacker. So, I mean, you know, we're moving him around, you know, just like a lot of people on the defense. But I think, you know, he's shown some value both on the edge, both off the ball and inside. So, I mean, like, we're going to do what's best for the team. But, I mean, thankfully for us, he's been doing a good job, and he's continually improving at the roles we're giving him. So, if that makes sense.
With Jerome, I guess based on what we saw during the preseason and training camp, there was a higher level of expectation for him, especially from a blitzing standpoint. Why do you think that that's not hitting home yet?
I mean, I think, you know, we got to obviously, you know, we got to do what's best for the in terms of going against the opponent, in terms of, whether it's blitz or not blitz. And, I think, again, everybody's really just, trying to get more and more comfortable, trying to, again, it's early part of the season, guys will improve. So, the thing is, you get the bye week, get a chance to work on some things, and then, you hope to see improvement moving forward. So that's what we're focused on, that improvement moving forward, and, dealing with Washington because, again, whether you blitz or don't blitz, or whether Baker's coming, Raekwon or Sam, I mean, they got a lot of good skilled players, a lot of good offensive linemen, guys that do a good job blocking. We're going to have to prepare for those guys.
How do you prepare for a team where you have no idea who's going to be playing quarterback?
I think kind of similar to what Coach Flores talked about. We prepare for all of them. I mean, and that's usually, if you take a look again, whether it's your pass game coordinator, your coordinator, whoever, and just the whole defense and the head coach, you're always looking at the other quarterbacks because you never know what can happen. You got to have some familiarity. So if somebody went down during the game, it's not like, oh no, what's he do? And nobody knows he's a scrambler or he's left-handed. I mean, that would be bad on us in terms of preparation. So we always prepare for them all.
Is that requiring more work than a typical week? You got 3 guys who can start, Patrick.
More work? I don't know. I mean, I try to maximize the work every week. So I mean, you got to throw effort at it. And it definitely is a challenge. But I don't know if I would use the term more or the phrase more work. But I mean, you definitely got to throw effort at it to get ready for those guys.
One guy who becomes available to you next week, if the team decides to do so, is Cordray Tankersley. What's your interaction been with him, and how does he look physically to you?
In terms of injured guys and stuff, you got to go back to flow on that. But just in terms of in the meetings, he's been diligent. He's been a diligent worker. He's been, somebody asked good questions and just been pleased with that.
How badly do you want the staff and players to experience victory?
I mean, how badly? I mean, what I really wanted to do, I want to win today. So today means in terms of our preparation, yesterday, the guys got back and, we worked on fundamentals and things of that nature. Again, I'm the type of guy, I don't look too far ahead. I think you kind of get lost doing that, looking too far ahead. So to me, I find the victories in the small victories. Can we today, when we're preparing for early down running pass, do we win that today in terms of our preparation as a coaching staff? Tomorrow morning when we install and the guys understand what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish, can we win that? And then, as you pile up the small wins, hopefully that leads to the bigger win in terms of on Sunday. But that's always the goal. But I really don't look too far ahead in terms of that. That's just not how I've been raised to coach. That's not how I'm built. I just got to try to find the victories where I can and focus on today.
Rashad Jones came back 2 weeks ago. Was contributed to 2 of the scores in terms of the play where he went for Phillip Rivers and he made that amazing pass, and then a missed tackle on, I believe, another situation. Where would you assess Rashad in terms of understanding and comfort level for your defense?
I think, just looking ahead to Washington this week, whether it's Rashad, or the other players on the defense, we're going to try to, I think guys are growing more and more comfortable with the scheme, and obviously that's our job as coaches to get them up to speed, and we're going to utilize their skill set the best that we can in terms of trying to stop Washington. Because again, going back to Washington, the skill level they got at the backs, obviously Thompson, you got Adrian Peterson. These guys are very skilled running backs that include Smallwood, another guy who's a challenge. And then you got the tight end situation. We'll see how that plays out with, they've had some flux there over the last few weeks. And then the quarterback situation, you guys already referenced to it. It's 3 guys you're getting ready for. Keenum, you got McCoy, and you got Haskins, the rookie. So, that's where the challenge lies. And then, we got to make our improvements on our fundamentals. We got, everybody across the board, we got to improve our tackling, and that starts with practice, in terms of us throwing effort at it there, trying to get it right, working to get it right and get it fixed. So,
if I could ask one question that doesn't involve Washington, who's been your best defensive player through a quarter of the season? In terms of evaluation, I think right now the whole self-scout part, that part of it, I'm really just focused on how we're going to defend Washington really right now in terms of the group. I got you. The best. If you could please answer that question. It's not expecting much.
All right. So I would say this. I mean, there's been a number of guys playing well, you know, in terms of guys playing well up front. You know, I mean, guys are playing. I mean, there's a number of guys. I can't single anybody out per se right now, but we've got some guys playing well, and then the goal is for us collectively to play well as 11, a group of 11 out there on the field for a sustained period of time.
With Jamal Wilkes down and Minka gone, how do you find somebody to sort of replace that nickel spot and fill that void?
You know, I mean, again, you know, in terms of who's down, who's up, I mean, just in terms of what we do is we practice it, you know, we evaluate it, and we see what's going to be best for the defense and for that week. And again, the matchups could be different based on who's in the slot for them, who's not in the slot. So, I mean, it could vary from week to week. And again, you know, we're very much week to week, dealing with week to week in terms of how we game plan. So, I mean, that's probably the best way to answer that.
What do you look for from a nickel?
Well, in terms of the inside corner, I mean, in terms of what you're looking for is the same traits you're looking for on the outside corner. You're looking for toughness, can they tackle, and can they communicate? I mean, that's really, if you were to ask me, that's what we're looking for in terms of all our defensive backs. Can they tackle, toughness, and can they communicate?
Coach Flo, Coach Jay, yourself, you want to talk about it, like the need to be fundamentally better. And the fan, they might say, well, blocking and tackling, you're either good at it or you're not. Can you speak on that and whether or not things like for an NFL player, like can they literally improve their blocking and tackling, or are they who they are?
Well, I mean, to bring it to the fan level or just someone that maybe not know football, I mean, I've been married for 10 years and 3 months. I'm a better husband now than I was 4 years ago. I mean, I know that. I'm a better father now that my daughter's 7 years old, my son is 5, about to turn 6. I'm a better father now than when I was when I first started. So, you know, again, I'm a better brother to my younger and older brother now. I'm a better son to my parents right now. You know, I appreciate them more. So I think over time you definitely can improve. Whether that's, I mean, again, taking it from the football, but everyday walk in life, I would think they would be able to, you know, relate to that. So yes, if you throw effort at it, if you try to improve and you put work in, you'll get improvement. So, all right.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.